Hello and welcome to day 23 of 73. So today I'm going to be talking about external voices. Now, what I mean by that is more the saying goodbye to the character that others may have known you as. And I want to give a bit more context with this. So today, actually, I realized that it had been almost, I'm a few weeks away from having graduated from college for 10 years. So this was in 2016. And I was laughing with my wife about it as we pulled into the garage after coming from doing some grocery shopping. And I was laughing because it's something that seems like it was just yesterday that I was in college, but also light years away from where I am today. And I remember also in that moment of clarity, the idea of who I was and how heavily I was into, partying and drinking, and that being so much a part of my persona and identity that I I had to stop for a second and think, because in this particular journey, I know that for a lot of people who knew me back then, it would seem almost foreign to have them think of me in a different light, or think of me as someone who wasn't necessarily as deep in that, even though I'm now a parent, even though time has passed and I've decided to make these efforts to improve myself. But I do also know that when I began this journey, that was a factor that really, I think, affected me more than I care to admit. Because for me, yes, I was making an effort to do something that was ultimately going to improve my situation overall. But I was also scared of now showing up as a different person to these people, or to the people that I perceive to be external voices in that. And I think a lot of the time that hindered me from wanting to make any steps, or wanting to show, or uh, be more vocal and out there about my journey and what it is that I was battling with. And I took some time this evening after doing the dishes, like settling up. I know it looks a little dodge at the back here, but this is the final stage. I'm just going to clean up the couch and then I'll go upstairs. But I took a second to think and understand that even though those feelings are there, that cannot be the reason why I do or do not do something. I understand that I have a very close tie and resonance to that person, and a lot of my friendships and relationships that I had built during that time admittedly had the background noise of being that person. But I think it's important for one to understand, and if it is something that resonates with you as you go on your respective journeys, that at the end of the day, I know I talked previously about silencing the saboteur, that's internal. It is very important to also acknowledge that for the most part, if you are now going to decide to rock up as a completely different person in the eyes of many, that might be something that you don't necessarily see the power it has over you until you get into that room and have to walk that particular road. So, given that realization, I found a lot of peace in knowing that those are the kinds of things that are ultimately going to happen. There are people that are now probably going to want to be closer to you because you're embarking on this journey, or subsequently might want to distance themselves. And all of that is okay. What you do need to understand is, if it is something that you're doing ultimately for yourself and for your improvement and for the betterment of everyone around you in your life, then that should still be a voice, but it cannot be in the control room, if that makes sense. It cannot be something that you now either use as your main steering point to where you're going. So understand that the external voices are also there, but you don't have to silence them. Acknowledge them and acknowledge yourself and where you come from, and keep going. Thank you for your time.